Gender issues in sport, in sport, in sport, in sport, business. Like it was said before, there's still transgender people being discriminated against in the workplace, and this can include false rumors about sexual orientation and severe harassment that includes physical and sexual harassment. And as far as competing in sports, transgender athletes are becoming more accepted, and the international Olympic Committee has only recently started to accept transgender athletes, but for them it goes a little more into, it's not as much as not as much as identifying your gender, as it is almost physically changing your gender, because in 2004 the International Olympic Committee came up with three basic rules that allow transgender athletes to compete, and the first one was that they must have had gender reassignment surgery. So I guess that goes into also the fact that it's not just saying what gender you are. Number 2 was they must have legal recognition of their gender, and 3 was that they must have at least 2 years of hormone therapy.
Okay, so now that we touched on all of our majors and fields of study and how they correlate, we're going to do another activity. So with this one, we would like you guys all to get out your phones, and we're going to do a little quiz, and you guys are going to text in your responses so we can see anonymously how you guys feel about this situation. Okay. Well, I need the one. We're going to come back to this actually. We're going to go into our class.
Okay, so we picked our university as our target community, and we thought that we could put this towards any different university, but since we all go to Mount Union, let's think about that. So we kind of made up a 5-step plan towards improving quality of life and life as a student at Mount Union for a transgender individual. And our first step is simple awareness, make people aware that there is an issue, especially on college campuses, with accommodations and treatment of people that are transgender, especially with harassment and bullying. And also that goes into making sure that people know that these resources are available. Because as we found in that Across the Line activity, a lot of people weren't sure about the availability of resources. Next would be communication, is talking to people and confirming that this is happening to our friends, this is happening to our colleagues on campus, and that this is a real issue and not just something that only affects some of us. Next one would be basic human rights of being transgender, such as having a place to live, places to go to the bathroom, and feeling safe on campus, most of all. And then step 4 would be furthering others' education. I think a lot of us, when we were doing our lit reviews on this, kind of became more interested in the topic, and the same would happen when we raised awareness on campus for it. It doesn't seem like a very real concern until you hear some of the statistics about how many transgender students or youth are being bullied and harassed and are attempting suicide, and how they have very real medical concerns afterwards. So that would be a very important step. And then lastly is becoming an ally. And when we have more people that are allies, we can create safe environments for people and actually have things changed on our college campuses or further on in policies or in laws, because we are all understanding the needs and those kind of unequal treatment and opportunities for transgender individuals. So that would be our 5-step plan, and we think it would be really easy to put this into place on Mount Union's campus and then to transport it to other college campuses, and the schools in general would be a really great place to start.
Okay. Do any of you guys have any questions while we try and get this poll to work? Does anyone know how to find the number which you guys texted? Well, should we do the hands down? Hands up? What we'll do is we'll do the old-fashioned way. For this question, we'll do the heads down, hands up, so it's still anonymous. Would you be comfortable having a transgender roommate? Which we already touched on this a little bit. Put your head, if you feel yes, you would feel comfortable having a roommate that's transgender, put your hand up. Okay, you guys can put your hands down and lift your heads up. So 11 people said yes. So that's a very big amount of you guys that would feel comfortable having a transgender roommate. Okay. Do you think the issue facing the transgender community has affected your personal life? Heads down. If you feel yes, it has affected your personal life, raise your hand. Okay. Put your hands down and heads up. So 2 people said that this affected their personal life. Do you feel like transgender individuals are confused? Put your head down if you, put your hand up if you agree that transgender individuals are confused. Okay, put your heads up. 2 people also said that you guys feel as if transgender individuals are confused. And that's our survey.
So we intended the first survey to be before our action plan and the second one to be after our action plan, and it's only 2 questions. So how do you think that you personally could affect or impact the lives of transgender individuals, especially on Mount Union's campus?
Yes, you guys can just volunteer publicly.
I'm on the Gender Inclusion Campus Committee, and a bunch of faculty and staff members, like on a bunch, like 10 of us, and then student reps. And we're like organizing like housing steps to take and bathroom changes to make and policy changes to make and everything. So it's not going to happen while I'm here, but knowing that like transgender students that are here now and that will come here in the future are going to have a like safe place to live, and like the housing lottery is going to be completely different to accommodate for people that are okay with living with transgender roommates and who identify as transgender. So
I think the best way that I can help is I'm not really educated on this topic. That's not, and so a lot of times if somebody were to ask me to like speak upon behalf of a transgender issue, I would sound extremely insensitive because I don't really know, I haven't really felt it, I don't have, it doesn't like hit close to home for me. So I think the best thing that for me would just be to listen, and honestly like my input would probably not be helpful.
Yeah, and so, I think that's a really great thing because a lot of us I think can agree that we aren't very knowledgeable about this topic, and one of the examples is in the step forward, step back. We can't relate to it because nobody stepped forward to the fact that they had a family member or a friend who was transgender. So just being acknowledged about the topic and just listening to people's views and how they feel, I think that's a great idea there, is to making an impact on individuals.
Because I feel like I would almost hurt that community if I were in charge of making decisions, because it would come off as insensitive because I don't understand.
Yeah, totally. Okay, and the last question. Do you think people would be willing to follow our action plan for the equality of transgender people? So if you can put your heads down and put your hands up if you think people would be willing to follow our action plan for equality of transgender people. Put your hand up. Alright, you can raise your heads. Alright, so thank you guys for your time.
About 10 people said that they thought people would be willing to follow the action plan. So that's kind of interesting to think about.
Thank you.